there are things known, and there are things unknown, and in between are the doors of perception, and the doorways of perception are now open. All around us, there exist worlds of the seen and the unseen, in a universe of endless possibilities. We should never limit ourselves to a single perspective. For in order to hunt the shadows and become true explorers of the unknown and the unexplained, we must sometimes take a paranormal point of view.
There are things known and there are things unknown. And in between are the doors of perception. And the doorways of perception are now open for a paranormal point of view. Good evening out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. You have stumbled upon another episode of Hunting of Paranormal Point of View here on the Hunting the Shadows YouTube podcast channel. We'll get it right here now. All right. I want to welcome you all in here tonight. It's been a long week, very interesting week, very sad week, too, in some ways. Absolutely. And, we had a moment of silence the other day for what happened in Minneapolis. And, that kind of ties in with this show tonight. We're going to be talking about children of the serpent. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be a very interesting episode tonight of Paranormal Point of View. I want to welcome you all in here. Hello, Kyle and Griff and Philip is in here. Hello, Philip and Joanne and Blue Eyed Bandit. Hello, dear. And of course, the ever lovely Shiro. Welcome aboard, Shiro. And also known as James. And Destiny's Nana and John Temperine and Melsina. Hello. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up with this thing. It's moving fast, but that's okay. That means there's a lot of you in there. And I'm glad to see that. Welcome aboard. I'm welcoming my Shadow Wolves in here tonight. We've got some new members. Thanks to Blue Eyed Bandit and some other people who have donated memberships. We have some new Shadow Wolves in the house. That makes you special, by the way. Okay, don't forget that. And what did I tell you about the chat? Don't forget it. It's lucky. Yeah, I'm not kidding, folks. You comment on this show. After the show, don't forget to comment because it's lucky. It will give you good luck. Yeah, Kyle Smith says, woof, woof, woof. There you go, buddy. Oh, yeah. Werewolves of London. Absolutely. Do you know what the WLOF is, folks? WLOF. It does stand for wolf, but what else does it stand for? Werewolves of London Fraternity. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys I used to know. The WLOF. Yep. Yep. But anyway, that goes with that old joke, knock knock, who's there? Aru, werewolves in London. Absolutely. His hair was perfect. Perfect. I'd like to get his tailor. I still got to get a pair of shit, we got here. Let's see. I'm trying to read some of your stuff here to make my crypto sore, huh? Still got to get a pair. Let's see. All right. Blue Eyes, Joanne, Nana. Okay, I'm just reading what you're writing here. It's going fast, but it's okay. I need Wolfram and Hart. Oh, you remember that, do you? Or so, yeah, that comes from Angel. That was one of my favorite TV. I liked Angel a whole lot better than Buffy. I never was a big fan of Buffy. It was just too silly or something. Angel, though, on the other hand, was great. I liked Angel. He was much better than Buffy in my book. And then, of course, that was his nemesis, Wolfram and Hart. That was a law firm run by Satan. Of course, a lot of law firms are run by Satan, but that's another story for another time, folks. Absolutely. But anyway, I hope you've had a fantastic week. I hope you have had some good stuff this week. You haven't worked too hard and all that, and you had some good supper or dinner or whatever. There, you got your popcorn ready. So we're gonna move on now, definitely. And I hated how they ended the series. It really didn't end it good. No, in my book. No, that's the way it goes. That's the way it happens a lot. That happened with Lost and some other things. They just really screw up the ending. I mean, you follow them all that time, and then they just kind of drop you. And that's not a good feeling. If you're going to end something, you need to end the thing right, But that's Hollywood for you. It's all about the money. They don't care about you. And as long as you fork out the money, you know. That's like, hey, how you doing, baby? Money, all right. Yeah, where's your money at? That's what it's all about. Yep, that the big fight that never happened. Yep. I tell you, they did end Grimm good though. Grimm ended very good. They didn't drop the ball on Grimm. I was not disappointed by Grimm. It really ended good. And matter of fact, they're talking about bringing it back. I hope they do. That was one of my favorites. I love to watch Grimm and all the Vesson cryptids they talked about. It was great. Yep. But anyway, yeah, it's been a very sad week too. There, what happened to me? That right there, folks, is what I've been illustrating all this time. That is pure darkness, and that's out there walking on the streets. Remember what I told you? What Charles Manson said. Charles Manson said, "You may lock me away, but my spirit will walk your streets every night." You know who that was talking? That was the demonic telling you that, folks. That's what they do. They walk your streets every night. You may lock them away, they may kill themselves eventually, but the spirit keeps going on. The spirit of the Nephilim, the spirit of the Antichrist that's in this world. That's the darkness you saw right there, especially with all those messages written on its bullet cartridge holders and all that stuff. The clips you had 6 million's not enough, and terrible things he wrote on there. Just terrible things. That shows you what extreme darkness will do. And it doesn't care what it does to you. That's the way it works. It doesn't care what it does to you, or your children, or your grandchildren, or anybody else for that matter. That's the way darkness operates. That's why we hate darkness. We should be hating darkness. We should be proactively fighting against the darkness as much as possible, because those children of the serpent are our enemies, our mortal enemies, and immortal, by the way, enemies as well. We got to always remember that and never lose sight of that, who the real true enemy is on this planet. And, I believe without a doubt, and I'm going to start calling this the series Intersection Earth, okay? Because I believe we're on an interdimensional intersection here, folks. I believe there's a lot of action going on out there. I think a lot of darkness is coming into this world because doorways have been opened, things have been opened, not just with CERN, but we're talking about covens who are constantly around the clock opening these dark spiritual doorways. This world is becoming inundated with this kind of stuff. The darkness is trying to overwhelm the light. We can't let that happen. Absolutely not. So be careful out there. I mean, I'm not trying to get you, I don't want you to live in fear, and I want you to give in to fear. That's the last thing I want you to do, because fear is the weapon they use. And we don't want anything to do with that. Fear tries to destroy our faith. And we don't want that. We don't want to deal with that, because we want to use faith against fear. That's what works. Faith against fear. That's the way we roll. Okay? Don't forget that. It's very, very, very important. Good evening, John. Let's see who else we got. Anybody else new coming in here? But we're starting to get ready to talk about our subject tonight. I pray and keep one hand on my pistol. That's what you got to do, Cal. I think J.R.R. Tolkien said that when you always keep a hand on your hatchet, always keep a hand on your weapon. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a gift from Satan. All right. It's a tool and a weapon that he uses as well, John. Absolutely. I believe that without a doubt. And he uses it very effectively when we don't need to let him do that. Living here in Chicago, I pray every day. Chicago is in bad shape. And it's because of a lot. I'm not getting political tonight, okay? But when you allow people to get out on bail without any cash, when you just slap them on the hand a little bit and turn them loose and let them do whatever they want to, we've had 4 years with the doors wide open on this country. God only knows what's out there walking our streets, driving those trucks out there and driving the cars and automobiles and flying airplanes for all we know. Well, who knows what's doing that? And like I said, with these guys right here, I'm going to bring this up for you. These guys right here are walking out there among us. Those are the children of the serpent. They're out there. Okay, they're snakes on two legs. I think we've all encountered snakes on two legs. Some of them we have had as friends in the past. Some of us have even married some of these snakes that walk on two legs. That's the way it rolls, folks. They're out there walking among us. They're not just down the road somewhere. They're not in some other city. They're right here where you are. Point blank. The evil one's having a lot of fun with people lately. Absolutely. That's the way he likes to play the game. He's playing a chess game with us, and he's winning right now. One day he will lose that chess game. God's going to checkmate him. But until then, we got a problem with that. Okay, we're living in an interdimensional intersection here on Earth. I think, without a doubt, things are coming through that we don't even understand about some of this stuff. Look at me. I've been in the occult and all of this stuff for well over half a century now, and this stuff is still happening that surprises even me. And I've said this before. Wherever you go in the paranormal or the supernatural, I've probably already been there. But they're inventing new stuff here. Okay, every day there's something new coming up, and the way they do it is new. It may be the same old stuff, but they're just doing it in a different way, in a new way, trying to fool people and believe it. That's why I said about all this new age crap and philosophy that people are trying to get you to believe in and all this other stuff. It's nothing but witchcraft with a new set of clothes on. That's all it is. That's exactly all it is. And Satan knows that this kind of stuff works. It's worked perfectly fine ever since the Garden of Eden and up until this day, and it's still doing the job. He's not going to change. He's not going to do any different. Oh, there's my brother, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, bringing in $2 donation. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very generous of you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, Rob and I will be doing a show very soon here, and we'll be advertising that on. I think it's going to be in the first week of September, right, Rob? Yep. I think it's the first September, and we're going to have some fun. Me and Rob always have a ball when we get together, man. We have a lot of fun. We go into some really strange territory, right, Rob? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we enjoy going there. It's always worth the trip, right? Absolutely. But yeah, I've been in, the occult and all that. I've studied this stuff. I know all about the dark arts too. I believe me. I've actually witnessed, I've actually witnessed a lot of this stuff for myself, Thank you there, Lady BR. $15. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you so much. The spiritual war is ramping up and we have to become warriors. Absolutely. I agree with you 110% on that. if we don't develop that warrior mentality, we're going to lose, and we got to have that warrior mentality about this. We don't want to be the victims. Evil wants us as victims because it's scared of us as warriors. They really are. They're a bunch of cowards. You got to understand that about, just like that guy that shot that school up and, or that thing, whatever it was. They're cowards. They're cowards. They're bullies. That's all they are. They just grow up and they get a gun and think there's something special. That's the way it rolls with these guys, and that's what we got in this world with us today. And that's why tonight we're going to be talking about the children of the serpent. What are you talking about here, Dennis? Children of the serpent. Well, it goes back to that biblical passage where God told Adam that the seed of the serpent will bruise his heel and he will bruise the head of the serpent. What he was saying here is the beginning of the battle of war and the war of good and evil against each other, okay? And the children of the serpent are the bad guys in this. You don't need to see if they're wearing black or white hats. You know who these guys are and what they represent and what they stand for. They are the bad guys, without a doubt. We need to be on the side of the good guys. That's where we need to be. And when there's no in between, I don't want to hear that. There's different shades of gray and all that. That is a bunch of bull. It's black and white, folks. Good and bad. That's it. There's no other choice. Satan, the devil, actually invented the middle thing he's talking about. Don't believe that. It's not true. Does not even exist. Okay. That's a trick. Don't fall for it. There's only good and evil in this world, just like there's female and male, okay? I don't care how many stuff you make up. And people who foster these ideals, who are up for this kind of stuff, that push this kind of mental illness out there, they have blood on their hands. They've got blood on their hands because they are instigators of all this kind of stuff. They are contributing to it. They are the ones that are behind backing all this stuff up. That's not good. Why are you out on the streets protesting against law and order? You got rapists, you got murderers walking around out there. You got people who will cut your throat for $1. Why are you for that kind of stuff? You better stop and ask yourself some very hard questions here. Are you a child of the serpent? Or are you more with the forces of light? You better find out. It's very important that you know. Hello, Carl. Wizard Moon is in the house. Hello. But you better ask yourself some very important questions here. Where do I stand? Who am I with here? Why are you protesting against somebody that's just trying to bring law and enforcement and fighting crime in your city when they're carjacking and stealing your cars, they're robbing you, beating people up, women are being raped on the streets? Where does that get good, folks? Where does that get good? Huh? No, it don't get good. And why would anybody be up for that kind of stuff? You gotta, what's going on in this crazy world? What is happening here? I'll tell you what's happening. There's change. They're trading good for evil and evil for good. That's what they're doing here. Don't you understand? That is what they're doing. And what have I said about that before? You don't want to ever go that way. That's doomsday stuff right there. You don't want to go that way. That way is nothing but extreme pure darkness. Okay, we got to be careful what we stand for in this world. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, is a very true saying. And people are falling for anything. People are so blind, not just spiritually blind, but mentally blind. And I'm not talking about mental illness here. You can't help that if you're mentally ill. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they want to be mentally blind. They want to believe the lies and the misinformation. They want to believe that stuff. What's wrong with these people? I want to tell you something. For the rest of my days and for all my life, I have stood for the truth. I will die standing for the truth. Okay? I want to go out with my boots on. I definitely want to die. I want to go out because I was standing up for the truth. The truth is worth fighting for. There's little, like it says in the Lord of the Rings, there's so little good in this world, but it's worth fighting for. You know? But that's not the way the children of the serpent see it. And like I said, you may know some of these people. Some of them may be your friends. One moment they're your friends, they pat you on the back, they get a big buddy with you, and next moment they turn on you. You know? They turn on you. You ever had that happen? Those are not your friends. They are children of the serpent. They are two-legged snakes. Watch out for them. They're some of the most dangerous individuals you will ever encounter because they have at their heart your own destruction. They don't care about you. Anything about you, anything that you have, they don't care. They will end your life in a heartbeat if they have to. It don't bother them. I once saw this back when I was a cop. We had a guy one time. He went home, killed his girlfriend, cut her up in little pieces, put her in the freezer, then went home and took a nap. Didn't bother him. All he was concerned was not getting any blood on his clothes. He didn't want to have to wash his clothes. Think about that a minute. How cold-hearted can you get? Well, that's no heart at all, really. There's a hole there where the heart used to be. Yeah, we've all had that happen. We've had friends turn on us, And I want to tell you something. I'm going to ask you all a question tonight, okay? And I want an honest answer from you. If you got a friend and they know somebody else is your enemy, or somebody else has disrespected you, and they still go ahead and hang out with them anyway after you told them, is that really a friend? Just asking for a friend here, okay? What do you think about that? So if you got a friend, so-called friend, and they know you got this, that somebody's an enemy, and you told them that they were your enemy, that they disrespected you, and they went and hung out with them anyway, is that really your friend? Nope, nope, nope. Absolutely not. Well, I encountered that not recently, not long ago. No. And what really gets you, you thought you were trying to be a friend to that person. When you try to be a friend to somebody and they do you that way, that's disrespect. Pure and simple. We've all had that happen, I think, on occasion, I'm sure. And and I'm not being mad about it. I'm not, I don't try to hate anybody, but I am very, very, very disappointed in that person. Very disappointed in them. Because I never would thought they would do me that way. But you know what? You get surprised every time, don't you? People will surprise you, especially women. I can't figure women out. Anyway, never have tried to. I've tried that, but it doesn't work. But seriously, backstabbers. Yeah, that's a good description there, Blue Eyed Bandit. Absolutely, and I think they enjoy doing that too. But I'm gonna tell you, some people out there, and I think this is the way it goes. They say friend, 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 friend. Really, they don't want you for a friend. You're just an acquaintance to them. You're somebody they can use for something or whatever. And when they get through with you, that's it. They throw you out like last week's newspaper. Do they still have newspapers? I don't think so. But anyway, the trust bill has been broken in that relationship. Absolutely. I'll agree 100% with that, good. And it's bad when your friend, somebody that you wanted to be friends with and be good to, throws you under the bus like that. They throw you under the bus. They go ahead and do it to you anyway, knowing that it's going to hurt you. They don't care. That's the way these cold-hearted people are. And you know, some people, they go around out there circulating out there and going around telling people how they need to live and how they need to treat other people are the ones doing this stuff. How hypocritical can you get? It amazes me. It really does. I don't know. I don't know. You know, some people, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, wounds do run deep, John. They leave scars. That's the bad thing about them. Wounds heal, but they always leave a scar. There'll always be a remembrance of that wound. You know, I got a lot of scars on me. They all tell different stories. So there you go. You always have that to remember them by. Definitely, my friend circle is very small because stuff like that. Circle and one. Well, that's good, Griff. You got to keep it. What I've always said, you know, quality over quantity works every time. Yeah, the ones who virtue signal the most are the ones that are early broken people. Yes, they are. Well, they go out and tell you, oh, you need to live like this, you need to do that tomorrow, you need to look out for yourself, and yet they treat people like dirt. I don't know. That's a snake, folks. Snake that walks around on two legs. We've all encountered them before, and that's what the show's about tonight. The children of the serpent. And some of them are very dangerous, not just to themselves, but to everybody else around them. We give them different names: narcissists, egomaniacs, psychos. We give them all different names, but it all comes down to one thing: they are children of the serpent. You know, some of them are definitely dragons. But anyway, seriously, they are children of the serpent. That's what they are. And you better watch out for these people because they will stab you in the back while they smile in your face. That's what makes them dangerous. And I think they eventually get to the point where they will give themselves away. I don't care how false of a friend they may be. Eventually, they will give themselves away, and you need to be watching for that sign. Absolutely, got to watch for it and be aware. And don't let them take you to the cleaners, as they used to say. Okay, don't let them pull the wool over your eyes, because there are a lot of sheep out there, a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing out there. Absolutely. I've encountered before. He was an emotional vampire, as I call it. Very dangerous people. Oh yeah, yeah. They can and not only dangerous life wise, but they are very damaging as well. You know, they may not take your life or anything, but they damage you. They beat you up really good, whether it be physical or mentally. That's the way they work. They're very destructive people. That's what they are. That's why I warn people: stay away from them. You know, don't live around them. Don't stay with them. Get out of the situation with them because they are very destructive, and they don't care who they destroy, and they will take you with them. That's just the way they work. And you know, when you take the real true vampire down, when you drive the stake through his heart and you cut the head off, they never just exit easy. They always do something terrific, some kind of traumatic stuff, some kind of terrible noise, or some kind of force will come out of them. They don't go easy. Evil does never go easy. It never goes easy. It always makes a scene when he goes. That's just the way evil is, okay? Whether it's demonic or vampiric or whatever it may be, it always makes a scene when he goes. So be ready for that. But hey, let them do it because that's all they're going to get out of it in the end. Because you finally win over them and not let them destroy you. That's the main thing, you know? You preserve yourself. I love people. They can sometimes be hard to get to know, but then I love people, and I need to make another good couple good friends who have my back, especially with what's coming our way. People you can truly trust, Carl. Absolutely. Those are the ones you need. And like I said earlier, quality over quantity works every time. Spiritual drama queen got to make a scene. There you go, Griff. Yeah, absolutely. That's the way they are. That's the way evil is, you know. Yeah, it always, you know. I have had that happen many times where we have cast spirits out of places and all that, and they'll make a big noise. They'll knock something over on the way out. They'll knock people down sometimes and all that. They make a big dramatic exit because they're just so full of hate and darkness, they can't do anything but that, you know? That's just the reaction you get from them. I had an exorcist tell me one time that when the demon reaches his height of cussing and cursing you, you know you pretty sure got him where you need him. Because then he's going to start slacking off. He's losing power. The steam is going out. and that's very true. The exorcist knew what he was talking about. You watch for that. That's a sign that you are definitely winning. When evil begins to lose steam and gets ready for its big exit. Kyle said this is a tight group of friends here. I hope we are, but you know what? Every group of friends has an agent of evil in it. That's just the way that works. Every group, I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's the ladies' sewing circle. I don't care if it's the church bulletin committee. I don't care who it is. Every one of them always has a plan in there. There's an agent of evil in there somewhere. You can bank on it. Oh yeah, you can take that to the bank. That's just the way evil works too. It always insidiously works its way in everything. Don't forget that. Beware of that. Okay, and that includes your neighborhood. Okay, as well. Oh, thank you, Danette, for that super sticker. Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. You know, I appreciate all of your support. Absolutely every single one. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And it helps me out a lot. Definitely does. But yeah, you know, even your neighborhood's got its agents of evil in it. You know that. You live in that neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about here. You know, that's the way it works. Everywhere you go, they've already compromised that place. That's like a guy was telling me the other day, and this is just the way it goes in this world. Okay, he asked me a question. What do you think about working at a place, giving them your loyalty for 10 years, and you're considered no better than somebody that just walks in the door, you know, that they hire and just walks in the door. Matter of fact, they like them better than they like you, and yet you've given them 10 years of your life. How very disloyal is that? Absolutely. But you got friends like that, my friends. You got people like that. You know, no matter how good and loyal you are to them, they will stab you in the back. Those are the children of the serpent. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Blue Eyed Man. It has once again gifted 5 more Hunting in the Shadows. We're going to have a big pack of shadow wolves here. Thank you, dear. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. We're going to have a big pack. We're going to have a big howling pack of shadow wolves. Absolutely. But yeah, you know, these are things you got to expect. That's just the way evil operates. And that's what I've said so much in the past on other shows and stuff. You might remember. I've always said the one good thing about evil. And people say, what are you talking about? The one good thing about evil. There is one good thing about evil. It is very predictable. It has a game plan, and it's very easy to figure out if you study it very close. You will always know what evil's up to if you do that. Okay? And keep an eye on evil, and that's why you need to keep an eye on your enemies and your friends. Keep your enemies close, friends close, and your enemies closer, as the saying goes. You better know what your enemy's up to because that's your enemy, you know. And people who disrespect you can definitely be called your enemies because they have no respect for you at all. That's not your friend, is it? Absolutely not. They don't have your best interest at heart. They have disrespected you. In other words, you don't matter to them. They don't care. That's not a friend. That's not somebody you can trust. You got to understand that, okay? It may not be a full blown out enemy that's gonna, try to cut your throat the next chance they get, but they are definitely people you still can't trust because they are working against you. They are not supporting you. They are disrespecting you for a reason because they don't want you to, to have anything that good happen. They are against you. They are your enemies, no matter which way you look at it. And anyone that hangs out with them, anyone that goes with them is definitely not your friend. I hate to, tell you that, but that's the way you definitely got to look at it. How else are you supposed to take that? But some people, get meaty mouth about, oh, well, maybe they didn't think about it, they didn't do this and all that. You always got somebody playing the devil's advocate, okay? Well, that is a sorry piece of business, playing the devil's advocate. Don't ever do that, friend. That's not a good deal. He doesn't need any advocates, okay? And he certainly doesn't need you to help him, okay? Don't do that. Don't give him any help at all whatsoever, whatever it may be. He doesn't need it. Absolutely. For our own sake, he doesn't need it. But, people that treat you that way, they disrespect you, are not your friends. They are your enemies. However can you take that? It's very obvious. I tell people all the time, know your enemies because obviously they still don't get it. Use spiritual discernment, always it will become a good friend. That's where discernment comes in. You need to see through their bull crap. You know what I'm saying? You need to see what they're truly up to. You need to understand what it is you're truly facing with someone's so-called friend. But those are some of the most deceitful, despicable people walking around out there. That's those two-legged snakes I'm talking about. That's what they are. They're low-down, mean, and despicable people. They don't care what they do. If they'll treat you that way, how can you ever be friends with someone like that? Because if they'll treat somebody like that, they will definitely treat you that way. How can you ever trust them? How can you ever really, truly call them a friend again? They may come to you one day and say, forgive me for this, do that. Okay, sure, forgive them. But how can you ever trust them? How can you ever really trust them again? They have broken that trust. And that's a precious, precious thing. You don't ever break anybody's trust. You got a problem. It's very hard for you to ever gain that trust back again if you ever do. There was a clerk that said Muhammad must wipe out Israel. He dropped dead of a heart attack right after. Yeah, I remember that. I'm going to tell you what. Did you know what Jesus said in the Bible about people offending people? He said, if you offend now this is what he said now, if you offend even one of these little ones of my Father, it will be better for you to have a millstone hung around your neck and thrown in the ocean. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? Blue Eyed Man says she's wiped her slate clean. Members on there. There you go. Well, we need to take house every now and then. We need to take count of the house there and see what's really going on. Who's really for you and who's not. And like I said, if you embrace people like these two-legged snakes, you're gonna get bit. Karma's gonna bite you in the butt eventually here. Okay, it's gonna bite them too, but it's gonna get you as well. You don't want to embrace these kind of people. You don't need to hang out with them. You don't need to. You can still be kind of friends, acquaintances with them. Be nice to them. Don't hate them. Don't cuss them out when you see them and all that. Don't do that. You don't need to sink down to their level. They go low, you go high. That's the way it goes. That's what you need to do. But you don't have to associate with them. You don't have to like. It's like I've always heard me say many times. You don't hate the sinner, you hate the sin. You don't have to like the sin. Nobody's making you do that. If you don't like a certain sin, something that somebody's doing, that's your business. If you don't like it, you consider it a bad thing. That's your opinion, okay? They got an opinion, you got an opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as theirs. Don't ever let anybody disrespect you that way. I got snake boots too there, Blue Eye Man. I got a pair of black snake skin boots. Sea snake skin, actually. That's my favorite boots to wear. I wear those when I get ready to stomp some bad stuff. But no, you can't trust these snakes. You can't trust them. So that's what we're talking about tonight. The children of the serpent. They are the children of the devil. That's what they are. Who else can they be? You got any other candidates? Who else can they be? That's got to be their daddy. Karma's not a doctrine in the Bible. Karma gets you because it draws you down and keep the wide, easy path. Yeah, but there's an old saying about those tables, Griff. They do turn. You do whatever name you want to call it, karma or just desserts. But we don't need to do that. We don't need to take it upon ourselves to do it because you know what God said? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You don't get in his way. He will take the vengeance, not you. That's the main thing. That's the thing about that. Just stand back and watch what happens. Because whatsoever a man or woman sows, that shall they also reap. And that is a spiritual law right there, my friends. Now my cowboys kicks, my hickers, my rattlesnake proof boots keep them here to hunt in the scrub palms. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I have some snake guards too that I wear. I've got some snake guards. Good idea to have them on. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, we need to wear those snake guards in our lives. Absolutely. That's a good point. We need to wear them. We need to watch out for those because the snakes are out there and they would like to get us. They would like to take us down to their level, but we don't need to do that. We need to be better than that. You know, God made you better than that. Don't ever get down to their level and operate like them and be like them. Don't ever do that. That's horrible. That's too bad to think about. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like them. I want to be better than that. Not just because I think I'm better. I mean, I want to be a better person than that. We should all want to be better people than that. You know, they don't care, by the way. They don't care. We don't want to be like that. See, yeah, sometimes you just need to be quiet, step back, and watch what happens. Because God is the one that gets the true vengeance in the end. He will do it. Not you. That's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is not to judge people, and you're not the executioner either. Don't ever forget that. That's not your job. Somebody else has that job. Okay? It's very important that we never lose sight of that, too. What possesses people to be unkind or abusive? It's because there's too much darkness in them, Joanne. There's more darkness in them than light. That's what's going on. You hear a lot of these new agers talk about shadow work. You need to embrace your dark side. You need to hug your demons. That's ridiculous. We've all got a dark, sinful side. We need to not embrace that. We need, and before, we need to fight it. We need to fight against that darkness. We need to have as less darkness in us as possible. More light, more light. That's what we need. And that's what's wrong with these people. There's too much darkness in their lives, too much darkness in them. And it comes out. Like I said earlier in the show, it shows up sooner or later in one form of fashion. It will do it. Because evil doesn't stay inside long. Look at Charles Manson. Look at John Wayne Gacy. Eventually, evil got to get out. And it's going to be very destructive when it does, no matter which way you look at it. Why don't you volunteer to throw the lever for free? Well, Kyle, I might not fight that. I don't know. It just depends on how much they need me for that one. Yeah, well, they worship worldly things. Here's the thing about it, blue-eyed man. They're stuck on themselves. They are their own gods. They don't love anything or anybody but themselves in the end. That's really what they are. That's really what their big problem is. They're supreme narcissists, okay? And that's exactly the way the devil changes you. He wants you to be that way. Don't you understand? He wants you to be stuck on yourself and not care about nobody else or anything but yourself, because then he can possess you so much easier that way. Carl, they're way too comfortable with lying and believing in lies and wanting to spread lies. Uh, People will lie about you a lot of times just because they got, that's their hobby. They want to do, mess you up if they can. It's like I said earlier about evil being in every institution out there. There are people walking around that are agents of evil. They like nothing more than to destroy you, your reputation, your life, by either calling you a racist or a pedophile or whatever. They don't care. They want to destroy you. Don't you see? They want to mess you up because that's how they get their jollies. That's their hobby. They love doing that kind of stuff because they work for their daddy, the devil. Pure and simple. Evil may only take a few drinks to surface. They don't even take a few drinks, John. It's there. It's bubbling on the surface so much you just can't do nothing but get out eventually, somehow or another. Pride, yeah, pride. Pride comes before a fall because you're stuck on yourself. You go back and listen to what the devil said. Me, I. That's all he says. He's talking about. It's the only thing he's concerned about himself. I will exalt my throne above the throne of God. I will sit in the north of the congregation. I will rise in the clouds like the Most High. I will be the Most High. Did you hear that? Me. That's all he was stuck on. That's where pride gets you. You think you're better and better than anybody else. You're smarter than everybody else. You're prettier than everybody else. You're just better all the way around than everybody. That's narcissism right there. You can't see nothing but good about yourself, no matter what you do. You may kill 10 people tomorrow, and it won't be your fault. That's the way they look at it. Yeah, that's the way they roll. And that's the way Satan wants to blind you and get you to that point. That's what Jesus said about the end times. They will become lovers of themselves. The love of many will wax cold. They're not going to have any love in their hearts for you or their wife or their children. They don't care about anybody but themselves. That's it. And they can do no wrong. They think they can do no wrong. They are gods. They think they're God. Do you understand that? That's exactly what that fruit was given to Eve for. Eat this, Eve, and you'll be like what? A God. Still the same old bill of goods there, folks. Same old stuff. And that's what Satan thought. That's why he got so hung. That's where the pride destroyed his heart. So wonderful. I should be God. Boy, did he cause a lot of trouble, didn't he? And he still is. But I had somebody ask me that the other day. Do you think that God could forgive the devil? If Satan actually honestly asked God to forgive him, yes, God would forgive him. But he ain't going to ever do that because he doesn't believe he's wrong. To this day, he thinks he's right. He has sold and believed his own bill of goods too well. He has succumbed to his own lies. That's the thing about it. I've seen some psychotic liars in my time. And that's the bad, sad thing about them. They eventually began to believe their own lies. Oh, yeah. That's the sickest thing of all right there. To believe your own lies. You don't get mentally unstable. Definitely not. Narcissistic people do things for others to show how wonderful they are. Yeah, it's all about them. No matter which way you turn it, no matter which way you look at it, it's all about them. That pride eats them up alive. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good to have a little pride in things you do. Take pride in doing a good job and take pride in this, but you don't let it take over you. Pride should not be the number one thing that motivates you. You don't want to believe your own publicity, as some of the actors will tell you. You don't believe your own publicity sometimes, okay? Don't ever get too prideful. You want to be humble. Why? God loves a humble heart. He loves that. Did you hear that? God loves a humble heart. I want God to love me. How about you? I don't want to go the other way. I'd rather have his favor. Thank you. So in order to do that, you got to have what? Humble heart. He don't like pride. Look what happened with pride. Pride's a dirty, bad thing. Evil stuff, folks. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. It will, like the darkness that it will eat you up alive. It's a spiritual cancer, basically, is what it truly is. A very virulent spiritual cancer. It don't stop. Ain't much of no cure for it. Once it gets started, hello, Jason. Good to have you here, bud. But anyway, that's what the children of the serpent are. And they are your enemies, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You better recognize them as your true enemies out there. And act accordingly that way, okay? And if you have friends like that, you better keep a real close eye on them, okay? Don't trust them. You can't. The moment they turn your back, they may put a knife in it, okay? They may smile while they do it, too, because they think they're so much smarter than you. I finally got it over Carl here. I'm going to get him right now. I finally got over him, or I finally got Wizard Moon right where I want him, I got him right here. Oh, they think they're so smart, see? Don't you let them ever get anything on you, okay? Don't ever let them get anything on you. You be smarter. You be smarter than the children of the serpent, and you come out on top. Don't fall for their tricks. Don't believe their lies. And certainly don't trust them with anything. Oh, yeah, look at all those green names. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Blue Eyed. You're doing a fantastic job. Well, by the way, Blue Eyed, I haven't gotten to your check yet, but as soon as I do, we will get that in the mail to you, okay? Absolutely, it hasn't got here yet, but as soon as we do, we'll fix everything up for you. You will get the last 7 of the Archangel's medallions, the last one. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know. Butter my biscuit. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. It's a crazy world out there, folks, and we got to be very careful. Okay, even with some of these so-called friends that we have. And like I say, if they embrace your enemies, they are not your friends. If they hang out with people who have disrespected you, then they're probably disrespecting you too behind your back. Okay, that's the way you got to look at it. So don't trust them. Absolutely. But I think I know a lot of my friends, some of them, and I do know them, and I do trust them. And I think they're good people. But some of them, you're always going to have some that they don't think that. They don't act that way, definitely. So be very careful. And trust only people you can trust, okay? People that maybe you can put a little trust in anyway. Nathan, it has become difficult for me to trust people precisely because of the type we're talking about now. I'm an empath. They can always spot me, and they come, and I am guarded more so now. That's good. But, still, even they can get under your guard sometimes. That's why you got to be very careful how you handle some of these stuff. Sometimes I think we are our own worst enemies because we want to see the better in people. I'm guilty of that myself. I like to think better of people. I like to see the good in people, and that blinds me sometimes. That makes me turn my discernment off when I shouldn't. Never turn your discernment off. Keep that discernment going all the time, and don't let anybody under that wire of discernment. Okay, because that may be just the opportunity they're looking for. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to give them an opportunity. But as I've often told you before, my friends, ask for discernment and it will be given to you. If you don't have it, ask for it. It will be given to you. It's a free gift that your Father wants you to have. Okay, He wants you to have it. It's very important and very essential that you have discernment. And don't forget that. It's very, very important, especially now more than ever in our lifetime. Do we not need discernment? Absolutely. We got to have it because it is a very important tool of survival today. It definitely is, because we've got evil stacked up against us in so many different ways. We've got to be extremely careful how we deal with these things, especially especially with the children of the serpent. Okay, they are your enemies, and they are out there, and they are out there to bring about your downfall. Absolutely, that's what they're all about, and that's why I say you cannot trust them in any way, form, or fashion. You got to watch out for them. I'm the only one I rely on. Everyone else is a bonus. There you go. There are, some people we can put a little minimal of trust in. There are some, definitely. I don't want to paint everybody black, color black, and make them look bad, No, there are some people out there that we can, trust a little bit. But when it comes to something very, very important like your well being, you need to double down on that and be very careful about it, okay? Because if somebody breaks your trust in that way, that's never good. Okay. So you got to be careful with that. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, that is a sad thing. You work at a company all those years, you've been loyal to them, you've been a good worker, and they don't consider you any better than a guy who walks in off the street from last week. That's not good. I would not want to run a business like that. I would not want to treat my employees that way. But people do that to everybody a lot, every day and day in and day out. They treat people that got their favorites. They don't mind hurting your feelings and falling over somebody else to get over you to get to them. They don't mind. They don't care how they treat you. What is wrong with people? They don't even think about how they are treating other people. Well, they really don't care. That's the bad thing about it. I hope that I never lose that. I hope that I will always be conscious of how you may be affecting other people. We need to work on that. Definitely. We certainly don't want to be hypocrites, say one thing and actually do another. But that's what these people are doing. And when they play their little game of favorites, that's not right either. We need to be fair with everybody across the board. Just like we say in this country, no one is above the law, and no one should be under it either. You know what I'm saying? Everything should be fair and on an even keel, no matter what color you are, no matter how much money you got, no matter what religion you believe in. Everything ought to be straight and fair right across the board. That's what this country was founded upon. But have we got that? No, we have lost that immensely. Carl, I don't blame you for going into business for yourself because you're the only one you can trust that way. These people, that's what's wrong with American business today. They don't care about the employees. They don't care about what kind of stuff they slop out there and put on the public. They don't care. It's all about the money. That's all they're thinking about. They're thinking about how much money they're gonna make for the next new yacht that they buy or the next Rolls Royce they're gonna get. That's all they're thinking about. They're thinking about themselves, nobody else. Those are the narcissists we talked about. They don't care. That's what's wrong with American business today. They don't care. They don't care what kind of product they put out or what kind of business service they give you. They don't care. And that's why nobody wants to buy American. Nobody wants to buy Chinese either. Chinese, they don't care either. They don't care what kind of junk they put out. As long as you fork the money over, they laughing all the way to the Chinese bank about it. We shouldn't put up with this stuff, folks. We are the consumers. We have power. We don't have to take this kind of crap. We don't. Just like with these people I'm talking about, we don't have to take that from anybody. Don't let anybody ever disrespect you like that. Don't let them use you as a doormat. That's your problem. If you let them do that, that's your problem, not theirs. That's your problem. And you don't never need to foster and make your own problems. We got enough problems in this world without making our own problems, okay? Don't ever let them do that to you. I don't care who it is. If somebody disrespects you, call them on it. Say, oh, wait a minute. I'm being disrespected here. I don't appreciate what you're doing. Now you either stop it or I'm leaving. That's it. I got nothing more to do with you. Call them on it. Don't be quiet about it. Squeaky wheel gets you all here, folks. Call them on it. If somebody's disrespecting you or treating you bad, or somebody treats you bad in the store, some waitress ignores you, call them on it. That's up to you. That's your part in all this. That's what you need to do. Okay? That's very important that you remember that. You got to take action. Okay? Actions truly do speak louder than words. Absolutely. But don't you let anybody do that to you. You don't ever forget this. You are a child of God. What did I say about the millstone being hung around their neck? That's how much God values you. You are his child. You are the children of God, not the children of the serpent. He don't care about his children. But God, on the other hand, does. And you are a child of God. That means you are due respect here, folks. God loved you enough to even die for you. That makes you valuable. Don't you ever let anybody disrespect stuff that belongs to God, and that happens to be you. Don't let them do animals that way either. Animals belong to God, okay? Trees belong to God out there. Don't let anybody or anything disrespect the things of God. We don't have to put up with that crap. And that's what makes us warriors. Don't you understand? That's the warrior mentality we need to develop. And if you don't get that pretty soon, if you don't get this warrior mentality going, you're going to be in bad trouble. You're going to be in bad shape because you're going to need what's coming up on you here. You're going to need that warrior mentality to survive. Pure and simple. Number one rule of survival, the warrior mentality. To win at any cost. Never retreat. Never surrender. That's what the Spartans used to say. I love it. I need to put that put on my tombstone. Never retreat. Never surrender. I have a long I to used to you. I don't have a barbecue. Oh, I'm young, 65, but I feel 50 and that like I did when you're only as old as you are in your mind, Carl. Don't ever forget that. Yeah, so there are some people walking around out there that were born old, like 90-year-old people. They were born 90-year-old people. Don't ever do that. Be young, be young. I'd asked my grandmother, who was almost 100 years old before she passed on. I said, "How do you feel about that?" She said, "Well, in my mind, I'm still 16. I don't know how I got this old." So that's the way you got to look at it. Be 16 in your mind, okay? But don't do stupid stuff like you did when you were 16. You're too old for that. You're too old to know better, okay? You should know better. But anyway, that's why I would like to shake a lot of these older people that's doing all kinds of weird stuff out there. I like to shake them sometimes and say, "What was wrong with you? You're old enough to know better." Yeah. But anyway, that's the way it goes. But anyway, don't forget what I told you the other show, you need to start promoting me now. You need to start mentioning me on other podcasts. I don't care what podcast it is. You need to say, "Where's Dennis Carroll at? Where's Dr. Dennis at?" You need to start asking these people to put me on there and get me going here. You need to push me out there, folks, so that we can grow and grow bigger here. It's not just about me, it's about all of us. Okay. So start promoting me and promoting the show. We will definitely, please do that. We would definitely appreciate it. Absolutely. It will be a big way to support this show. Okay. And I know you're supporting in other ways too, which I do truly appreciate, but you can do it that way too, to support me and support the show. If you support me, support the show. If you support the show, you support me, okay? And I support all of you, all right? That's the way it works. So don't forget that. Start pushing me out that way, okay? Start talking about me on other podcasts. Start saying, you need to get Dr. Dennis on here, or something. Uh, I'm not gonna stop if you want to brag on me a little bit, okay? All right. But I would appreciate that. And I do thank you for your support immensely. Trust me, I really do. Your old Shanty needs you on 2 days a week. Oh, I don't know if I can swing that, but yeah. Uh, I won't be on. Unfortunately, I will not be on next week because I have a doctor's appointment that day next week. But the week after that, I got some special show on skinwalkers coming up on that, so you don't want to miss it. Definitely not. Use 19.9 a month on my super motor combo package at 29. Wait a minute now. Who are we supporting here, Carl? Okay, hold on a minute. But anyway, I appreciate all of you. I really do, and I really enjoy getting together and talking with you, my friends. Absolutely, and it's always fun when we do that. And it feels like a family reunion every time we get together, right? Absolutely. And we are big on family reunions in the South, by the way, folks. We are big on them. There are now 2 podcasts I already watched, Good Hands and Honey Shadows. Very pleased to follow you, Professor Carol. Well, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that. It means a lot, absolutely. And uh, you all do. All of you mean a lot to me, and you do. And definitely, I'm here for you. Don't ever forget that. I'm here for you. If you ever have a question, any kind of a problem, I have a lot of consultations going on. I have shared some of those with you. And that's what I do. I try to help people as much as I can and try to help them with problems or answer their questions or just listen to their story. If they want to tell me their story, I enjoy doing that, whatever the situation. But also, I like to get together with you all and share some of this stuff with you as well about like the children of the serpent and other things like that. And I've got another show coming up soon. I think the 10th of September. You're gonna love this one. Interdimensional vampires. It's gonna blow your mind. Okay, you don't want to miss this one. It's gonna be a good one, definitely. But we'll see how that rolls when we get yes, I said interdimensional vampires. We're gonna definitely be going deep into that rabbit hole. You're an apex skeeter killer, huh? All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I kill mosquitoes as a hobby and for fun and profit, but I ain't getting no profit out of it. Onshore portal wasn't working. I see. Uh-oh. Hope everyone had a good week. All right. But anyway, I'm glad we all got together tonight and discussed this stuff. Confession all to the ring. All right. Well, wait a minute now. Where's my buddy Gerald at, Shiro? Is he off doing something there? Where's he at? We're gonna have a good show with him Monday. We're gonna be talking about the modern and ancient wonders of the world. You don't want to miss it on the road less traveled. So check that out Monday. And we'll see how that goes. And I will be having a show very soon with Bigfoot Michigan Rob coming up, and we're going to check that out. Absolutely. But I was gonna tell you, Blue Eye Bandit. Every time I go sit out on my porch, the mosquitoes come around. Now since I've got a mosquito killer, they won't show up. Word must have got out. I think they have a mosquito newspaper or media division. But anyway, that's the way it goes. But I'm anxious to try out my new weapon. Yeah, I hope all of you have a great Labor Day out there. Definitely be careful. Don't forget your barbecue. And if you do have a barbecue, make it a special one. Yeah, eat extra burgers from me, okay? But yeah, I hope you all have a great Labor Day. Enjoy yourself, relax, and rest a little bit. That's always a good thing to get a little R&R. Yep. If you don't have much would sell me shell cheap portals, I would come visit you guys. Well, Carl, maybe we'll have a breakthrough in that very soon, you know? We'll be portaling around here. That's what you call it, portaling around when you start using portals. They have fly. Oh, yeah. I like killing flies, too. It's time I have for you. And have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. God bless you. Thank you, Wizard Moon. You do the same. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. And I definitely want you all to have a great Labor Day and a great weekend and all that. And be careful out there. Watch out for the children of the serpent. They're everywhere, okay? They're your enemy, your sworn enemy. Don't you forget that, okay? Don't keep an eye on your six. Keep your head on a swivel, all right? Absolutely. But I appreciate you all being here tonight and that we could all get in touch and get together. And please keep me in your prayers, definitely. I'm going to tell you something. I don't mind sharing this with you guys. The last few weeks here, I have been attacked spiritually more than I think I have in years. I am having some very big spiritual attacks going on, and so I really, really would appreciate if you will keep me in your prayers, keep good thoughts coming my way. It will help out a lot because I am under intense spiritual warfare here, definitely. Why, I don't know. I think I must be doing something right. Evidently, something must be going right. They wouldn't be hammering me like this, and I do mean they are hammering on me. So please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I would appreciate that. And definitely, as you all know, you are in mine. And I thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you for being here tonight. And we are good friends. We're more than just friends. That's acquaintances. We are real friends, and we are definitely family, okay? And I appreciate every single one of you. And I want you to be careful out there and take care and enjoy yourselves, but be aware, okay? Be aware. Don't be afraid, be aware. That's the main thing. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you all so much for being here tonight. I will release you now back to wherever it is you need to go until we get back together again, okay? And until then, remember, lux in tenebris. That's light in darkness. And we definitely want to hold on to that light. Absolutely. Until we get together again, then, my friends, take care of yourselves. Godspeed. And I will see you in the shadows. I have but one mission, and that is wherever providence may lead me, to seek out evil and rid the world of it. Solomon Kane. I want you to believe to believe in things that you cannot. Dr. Abraham Van Helsing. You can support Hunting the Shadows at our Patreon, patreon.com, Hunting the Shadows Podcast. Also, our memberships are open on the Hunting the Shadows YouTube podcast channel. Please also support our Facebook groups, the American Institute for Paranormal Research, Southeastern Cryptid Investigations, Legend Trackers Society, Highway to High Strangeness, Monstrum Venators R.S., Agency of the Arcane, and Hunting the Shadows Agency. You can contact Dennis Carroll at denniswcarroll.com.